It is supposed to be just another day in the skies above northern India. 2 commercial flights. 2 different paths, hundreds of people on board, families, workers, students, all heading somewhere, all expecting to land safely. But above a quiet farming village called Charkhi Dadri, something goes terribly wrong. Air traffic controllers watch their screen, pilots follow instructions. Everything appears routine, until it isn't. A misstep, a misheard command, a moment of silence when there should be clarity, and then contact is lost. What happens to all the passengers on board? How do 2 flights with trained crews and working systems end up on a deadly collision course? And could it all be prevented with just one word spoken more clearly? What investigators uncover will not only shock the world, but change aviation forever. This is the story of what really happens over Charkhi Dadri. It's the evening of November 12, 1996. The airspace over Delhi is calm. The weather is clear, not a storm in sight. Inside the airport, things are running smoothly. Flights are arriving and leaving, one after another. To most, it feels like just another normal day in the skies. At one gate, Saudia Flight, a Boeing 747 is getting ready to leave. It's a big international flight headed for Saudi Arabia. On board are 312 people, many of them Indian workers heading back to the Middle East. Some are families, some are flying alone. Most are just eager to get home. In the cockpit, the crew is focused. The captain is 44 years old, and he's flown almost 10,000 hours. That's a lot of experience. His co-pilot and flight engineer are just as sharp. To them, this flight is nothing new. Meanwhile, high above the sky, another plane is approaching India. It's a different kind of jet, a Kazakhstan Airlines Aviation Il-76. It's flown in from Chimkent, a city in Kazakhstan. On board are a group of passengers from Kyrgyzstan. Many are traders coming to India for shopping or business. The aircraft was chartered by a private company. It wasn't a regular airline flight, but everything is approved and planned. The crew of this plane is also highly trained. The captain, also 44 years old, has flown for years. The rest of the team, including a navigator and radio operator, are calm and professional. 2 planes, 2 different destinations, 2 crews who've never met. At this point, they're just numbers in the sky, routes on a radar screen. But soon, both planes will be sharing the same airspace just west of Delhi, a patch of sky that looks empty, but is about to become a point of no return. So how do these 2 aircraft end up on a collision course? The answers are complicated and chilling. As Saudia Flight 747 lifts off from Delhi at 1832, everything seems normal. At the same time, Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907 begins its descent toward the same airport. Both flights are under the watchful eye of the same air traffic controller, V.K. Dutta. The skies are busy, but routine. Flight 747 climbs steadily to 10,000 feet, following its clearance without issue. Meanwhile, the Kazakh flight is cleared to descend to 15,000 feet once it reaches a point about 74 nautical miles from the airport beacon. Everything appears to be going according to plan. At 1836, the Saudia flight is instructed to climb higher, up to 14,000 feet, safely away from descending traffic. The crew confirms they are climbing to this altitude, but something is already off, something invisible yet deadly. At 1838, the Saudia crew reports reaching 14,000 feet and requests clearance to climb higher. The controller tells them to hold their altitude and wait. The crew acknowledges and maintains 14,000 feet, assuming they are safely separated from other traffic. At the same time, the Kazakh flight reports it has reached 15,000 feet, the assigned altitude to keep distance from the Saudia flight. However, the plane is actually flying higher, around 16,300 feet, and still descending toward the airport. This critical misalignment sets the stage for disaster. The controller warns the Kazakh flight about traffic ahead, Flight 747, approaching from the opposite direction, about 10 miles away. The Kazakh crew says they see the other plane and are watching closely. They believe they have enough room to maneuver, but appearances are deceiving. Despite their efforts, the 2 giant aircraft are on a deadly collision course. Then, at 1840, the calm is shattered. A nearby United States Air Force cargo plane radios in, reporting a massive explosion in the sky, just off their 2 o'clock position. The The controller immediately tries to contact both Saudia and Kazakh flights, but hears nothing in return. The unthinkable has happened. The left wing of the Kazakh plane slices through the left wing of the Saudia Boeing 747. At the same time, the Saudia plane's left horizontal stabilizer tears off the Kazakh plane's vertical stabilizer and tail. Control is lost instantly. The Saudia 747 spirals downward, flames trailing from its shattered wing. It breaks apart in midair, crashing into the earth at nearly supersonic speed, over 700 miles per hour. The Kazakh plane, crippled and without much of its left wing and tail, spins flat and crashes nearby into a field. In an instant, 312 lives aboard Saudia Flight 747 and 37 aboard Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907 are gone. The collision happens about 100 kilometers west of Delhi. Villagers near Dani and Birahar hear a terrifying roar, then the thunderous sound of explosions and crashing metal. Smoke rises from the crash sites, black and heavy against the evening sky. Wreckage from the Saudia aircraft litters a village called Dani in Haryana's Bhiwani district, while the Kazakh wreckage crashes near Birahar village in Rohtak district, also in Haryana. Silence falls over the skies as emergency services scramble to respond. Rescue teams rush toward the wreckage, but they know the grim reality. When planes collide midair at such high speed, the chances of survival are nearly zero. There is no sign of life amid the scattered debris. News quickly spreads to nearby towns and cities. Families waiting at Delhi's airport grow anxious as the expected arrivals fail to land. Authorities confirm what no one wants to hear. The two jumbo jets have collided, and all passengers and crew on both flights are feared lost. At the control tower, the air traffic controllers are shaken. How could this happen under their watch? Questions flood the room. Where did the breakdown occur? Was it a mistake, a miscommunication, or something more? After the crash, a special team starts investigating. The team is led by Judge Ramesh Chandra Lahoti from the Delhi High Court. They want to find out how two big planes crashed in clear airspace. The investigators speak to everyone involved: air traffic controllers, the two airlines, and others. They study the flight data recorders, also called black boxes. These devices record everything about the flights. One black box is checked in Moscow, the other in England. The black boxes show a clear problem. The Kazakh plane did not stay at the correct altitude. It was supposed to fly at 15,000 feet, but it slowly descended to 14,500 feet, then to 14,000 feet, and even lower. Why did this happen? The investigators find that the Kazakh pilots had trouble understanding the air traffic controller. Their English was limited, so they relied on a radio operator to talk to the controller. This made communication difficult. It seems the pilots may have thought the Saudi plane's altitude, 14,000 feet, was their own altitude. This was a deadly mistake. Another problem was measurement units. The Kazakh pilots used meters and kilometers, but air traffic control used feet and nautical miles. This caused confusion. Also, Kazakhstan Airlines did not give all the crew the right altimeters marked in feet. The radio operator had to look at other crew members' instruments. This made it hard for him to know the exact altitude. Kazakh officials disagreed. They said their pilot spoke good English and thought turbulence was the cause. They said the plane went lower because of bad weather inside clouds. But weather reports and witness statements showed the skies were clear. The flight data recorders also proved the turbulence theory was wrong. Still, the crew had many challenges. They had trouble working together and staying aware of their exact position and height. Just seconds before the crash, the radio operator noticed the plane was too low. He warned the pilots. The captain tried to climb quickly, but it was too late. The Kazakh plane's tail hit the left wing of the Saudia plane. Both planes were badly damaged and crashed. The investigation also found other issues. The airport did not have a special radar that shows aircraft altitude. Instead, it used a basic radar that only showed distance and direction. The airspace around Delhi was also crowded. Arriving and departing planes had to use the same narrow path. Usually, airports have separate routes for arrivals and departures. But here, military control limited the space. Neither plane had a collision avoidance system. This system warns pilots when planes get too close. If they had it, the crash might have been avoided. The investigation made important recommendations to create separate routes for arriving and departing flights, Install advanced radar that shows altitude. Require collision avoidance systems on all planes in Indian airspace. Reduce military-controlled airspace to make more room for civilian flights. These changes came from a terrible tragedy. They help make flying safer for everyone today. Today, the Charkhi Dadri district honors the victims of the tragic mid-air collision with a dedicated memorial park. The memorial stands as a solemn tribute, featuring the names and personal details of all those who lost their lives on that fateful day. Located within the district, the park serves as a place of remembrance and reflection for families, officials, and visitors alike. Its creation was a collaborative effort involving the district administration, the Ministry of Civil Aviation of India, the Airport Authority of India, and the embassies of Saudi Arabia and Kazakhstan. The Charkhi Dadri collision remains one of the deadliest mid-air accidents in history. So, what do you think could have prevented this disaster? Mention your thoughts down below. If this story made you think, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into aviation's most important moments.